What was the most screwed up thing you saw in school? A kid jumped over the balcony to try and beat the rush on mashed potato day. He broke both his legs. Did not get his potatoes. Took me too long to realize mashed potato day is probably just the day your cafeteria serves mashed potatoes, and not some kind of big yearly mashed potato event at your school. A kid in my school year stabbed one of my friends in the back. Not verbally, I mean with an actual kitchen knife. We were 11. We are in the UK and it's 31 years ago in a place near Peterborough. He was stabbed in the back and it narrowly missed his spine. He was in hospital for a week as needed surgery to remove the blade and then went home with no side effects physically except the scar, which was pretty impressive. Obviously psychologically was a different kettle of fish. The boy that stabbed him wasn't one of his friends but wasn't an enemy either. He had gone around that morning saying that he was going to stab someone but no one took him seriously. He was sat at the desk behind my friend, and leaned forward and stabbed him. He was expelled, but at that time I believe the law was that he was considered a child and therefore couldn't be prosecuted. Knife crime wasn't really a thing here in the UK at the time. When I was 9, someone stabbed another kid in the back with a maths compass. Just randomly with no real motive or logic. Why do the most violent stories here involve elementary-age kids? Cause kids at that age are psychopaths. Our school bully, nasty piece of work we'll call C, ripped the wig off a new student, A, who had recently returned from cancer treatment. They got into it, and A was suspended despite multiple witnesses. We suspect even the teachers were slightly scared of C. Next day, as we were leaving, A was waiting outside for the doors to open, comes straight in, grabs C's hair, slams her head into a locker, then proceeds to pull out a huge pair of scissors and violently chops off as much hair as she can before the teachers intervene. She was obviously expelled, but man, she's still my hero. Bully C was definitely put in her place after that and absolutely toned down her torment of everyone else. Wish I knew what became of A. I had a friend that was allergic to so many things he had to eat the same thing every day that he brought from home. I literally mean every day for years. He had a very bad day, failed a test, some things happened at home. We met up at lunch and he had 2 slices of pepperoni pizza. He said today seems like a good day to die and proceeded to wolf down both slices. I had never seen him so happy. I walked him to the nurse's office as he ballooned up. He was hospitalized for 2 weeks. He never regretted the decision. That's kinda funny, just because he had no regrets. But damn, it's sad that schoolwork pushes people in that direction. I saw the PE teacher getting a heart attack during class and dying. It was fucking scary. Half the teachers at my school are old, some 70 plus, so it is inevitable that will happen at my school one day. They train all the students how to use a defib and do CPR, which I personally think all schools should do anyway. In 1st grade, a boy pulled his pants and underwear to below his knees and laid down on his back, then a girl spat on him. I don't remember why, but I will never forget that sight. Some kid kept shitting in the sink every week and they had to keep cleaning it up. One day I walked in the bathroom and someone had put shit on the wall. Had some girls in my high school who were creating works of art in the same fashion. They were deemed the fecal phantoms and were never caught. A kid clipped the tip of his tongue off with a pair of safety scissors after someone dared him to. One of my brother's friends cut the very tip of his nose off cause someone dared him to. A couple fucking in the dumpster behind the cafeteria. 4 or 5 of my friends and I stumbled upon this event while we were coming back on campus, and one of them went to throw his trash away. It got around the school pretty damn fast. Like physically in the dumpster or just behind it in some sort of enclosure? Inside the dumpster. I worked at an American school in China a while back. One day, one of the school buses was on the way to campus from the city and there was an accident that students saw. A truck ran over a man riding his bicycle. The students on the bus witnessed the accident and watched as the man lay dying on the road. They were stuck in traffic and couldn't get away from the horrific scene for over 20 minutes. Kids were crying and traumatized. Most of them were elementary school students. There was a lot of grief counseling in the months after that. Edit. I had no idea so many people would connect with such an awful event. I'm sorry for all of you who have had to witness similar horrific accidents. In this case, which happened in Shanghai, SAS, in the late 90s, the man was dead on impact according to what we heard. May he rest in peace. Hope I was able to answer all of your questions. A kid hung himself on a playground our senior year. I hear his brother found him. This all happened a week after two of the brother's friends, also seniors, died when they wrapped their classic Mustang around a tree near the high school. Made for a rough senior year to say the least. A girl was coming back from a doctor's appointment and wasn't there to hear that we couldn't get out equipment for recess. She opened the door, grabbed something and went to leave. The wind kicked up and slammed the door on her hand and she lost a finger. They rushed her to the hospital and they sewed it back on and eventually it was back to normal, but that was the most fucked up thing I had seen. A girl had diarrhea and was wearing tights and sitting in class and the tights started getting really lumpy, but she didn't get up to go to the bathroom. Gotta wait to move slick and sly with the crowd so when it runs down your leg you can kinda shake it off since there's less suspicion of who it came from. Who's gonna check or notice if I shit my pants while in a crowded hallway, right? As you briskly walk to the locker room before anyone else and then hide in that bathroom until the bell rang. And then wait until everyone leaves so you can safely change out of your mud diaper and dispose of the evidence. Can't say I've ever been in that situation, but I get it. Having a guy who killed his wife then come to the school and held my class hostage to try to force the school to give him his son so he could kill him. He was finally caught on his way to kill his parents. Wait, legit? Did he have a weapon? A knife. He came into the school and took some grandma hostage, dragged her into the first classroom, which was gym for us, and told us he was going to kill all of us. He tied up the gym teacher with the extension cord, made all of us sit on the floor huddled together in the back of the room while he ranted. He then went to the office where one of the secretaries gave him her car keys and convinced him to go. Watched two girls get into a fight. One girl had a bunch of ear piercings and was wearing so many hoops it looked like chainmail. The other girl got her on the ground, grabbed those hoops and pulled. Hard. I will never forget the scream. The rings didn't give, but her ears sure as hell did. Blood everywhere. The girl standing over her like a goddamn psychopath holding a very recognizable ear in the air above her head. It was fucking Mortal Kombat in real life. Girl fights in school were always nuts. My very first day of high school, two girls got in a fight. They were punching each other, clawing at their faces and ripping each other's weave out, and a teacher came to stop them. Well, this teacher was rewarded with a shot to the kidney and he got dropped. What an intro to high school that was. Many years ago I sat next to a kid in high school who went on to kill his mom. He would always bring in photos of homemade bombs from 2-liter bottles, flamethrowers from squirt guns, etc. I thought it was the coolest thing and was so impressed by it until later on when I recognized I was encouraging a to-be murderer to keep being violent. It's not your fault. Seconded, no way you could have known. I remember a lot kids being interested in fire and blowing shit up, with fireworks mostly, and most turn out fine. Ask a crowd of people if they used to play with either, and I'd bet just about everyone will have some stories. Some girl broke up with a guy, so he smeared his shit on her locker and pissed all over it. Someone had taken a massive shit. It was larger than a coffee cup in width and considerably longer. So large it was impossible to flush. People were lined up into the halls to see this monstrosity, including faculty. You know it's a small town when a turd calls that much attention. A giant hawk swooped down on campus and sunk its talons into the back of a squirrel foraging for acorns about 20 or 25 yards from me. Scared the bejesus out of me. He stood on it like a boss for a few seconds and then flew off with it. This was at like 7:30 in the morning, so it took me a while to wrap my brain around it. The guy walking in front of me spun around and said, "Please tell me you saw that." The boys in my class bred mold in one of the lockers. They managed to get milk so moldy, some yellow fluid was all around it. I did that, but to a much milder degree a few years ago in 6th grade. Put a carton of grape juice and left it there for a couple months, and when I checked on it there was some black mold, or whatever. They had bred in there for a whole year. You could smell the mold everywhere near the lockers. Do you have a similar story? Leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.